السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. استغفر.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Jazakallah khairan jazak. Inshallah, and alhamdulillah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, by His fadl, by His rahmah, He has allowed us and given us the life to enter into another month of Ramadan. This is a huge ni'mah from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When I say huge, I mean it is the likes of which that we cannot comprehend in this life. The reality of it and the proper understanding of it is something that is achieved in the akhirah for the vast majority of people. And alhamdulillah, the administration at Masjid Huda, they are making arrangements for the programs and everything during this month. And one of the things is that between the three of us, inshallah, myself, Imam Sab, and another brother, we will be, after Salatul Dhuhr, was it Sunday? So Saturdays, every day except for Jummah, of course. Very short khatira. So 5-10 minutes, inshallah, just a little targheeb and tarheeb, a little reminder, a little bit of a warning, inshallah, as we move through the month of Ramadan. So that way, hopefully, we keep the energy up and we keep the fikr, we keep that worry and concern exactly where it's supposed to be. Because لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ. Pay attention. So every little bit of reminder helps us to do what? Pay attention. Pay attention to Aqidatul Islam, the reality of our existence and the reality and the truth that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has established. Ultimately, and haqq, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay, awalan. So first, for today, inshallah, we have to cover something which is extremely important before we can talk about anything else. And that is, Inna Allah la yuhibbul musrifin. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not love those people who engage in israf. Now, of course, this is the month of Ramadan, and we are trying to get close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We're trying to get the maghfirah, the forgiveness from Allah. We want the fadl of Allah, the divine favor from Allah. So, Shaykh Miran, rahimahullah, says, how do you understand the fadl of Allah? The fadl of Allah, divine favor, is something which is always coming. Our job is to do what? Don't do anything to impede it. Don't do anything to stop it. Stay out of the way. Stay out of your way. Right? And how do we do that? Avoiding sins. And one of the things that Allah Ta'ala does not love is extravagance, wastefulness. And it is a plague that falls upon us, especially when it should not during this month of Ramadan. Meaning that garbage cans end up filled with food, right? Food, again, we have these extravagant parties and dawats and everything and all this food. And then after everybody's leaving, the family's left looking at all of this food. What are we going to do with all of this food, right? Food ends up going into the refrigerator, but because nobody wants to eat the same food 2 days in a row, so now we need to make new food. It's Ramadan. We need new food. So then now you make new food. So the old food in the refrigerator also ends up going in the trash. And then because of a lack of understanding and appreciation of exactly the barakah and the ni'mah that Allah Ta'ala has placed in every single grain of rice, we feel comfortable even our own kids and even us as adults, that we will, I'm done. Air quotes for that one, huh? I'm done. And now there's still food on the plate. There's still grains of rice. Well, it's only, Abu G, 3 grains of rice. Why are you getting upset behind 3 grains of rice? Because you're not understanding. You're thinking grains of rice in terms of monetary value. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is looking at what He did to bring you those 3 grains of rice. Think about everything, because think about this. A single grain of rice. That plant, where did it come from? How did it get to you? How did it get cooked? What is the lineage or the pedigree of the plant itself? Meaning how many generations and how many centuries has one seed turned into another seed to another seed for another plant to another seed and another plant? All. And Allah Ta'ala knows this. This is fi ilmillah. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has already centuries, millennia ago, Allah had planned for this grain of rice to be on your plate for you as a blessing. And you take the blessing and you throw it in the trash as if like it doesn't have any value to you because the monetary value is less than a penny for a single grain of rice. But maybe that's an indication of where we're at in terms of our perception of this dunya in its entirety, that we've placed one value on it, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has placed another value upon it. And which one are we going to live by? The value that Allah ta'ala has placed on ashya, on things, or the value that mankind or the majority, in which majority tends to be the kuffar and the mushrikeen, or are we going to function based on the value that they have placed on things? So israf is a very serious issue during Ramadan and food. What about time? What about wasting time? Isn't that also israf? Because time, you know, for the brothers in the classes, and mashallah, time equals life, life equals time. Think about this very carefully. I know we have short, so think about this very carefully. Just on about wasting time. Think about this. There was a time when you used to be paid for the work that you accomplished. So you worked, you did a job. So say, for instance, I want you to build such and such. Now, upon completion of building such and such, I will pay you such and such amount as a compensation. Now, think about it. What happened? We're going to pay you X amount of dollars for an hour. An hourly wage. And most Muslims even are not understanding what they're saying, and they argue over how much that should be. $14, $15, $16 an hour. It's chump change. It's chump change. But this is, they're saying that this is how much we value your life. This is the only part that we care about you. This is how much we value your life. We value your time, that I will give you $14, $15, $16 an hour. $25, $30 an hour. I don't care if you give me $1,000 an hour. My life is worth more than dollars. You can't pay me for my life. You can't afford an hour of my time. And unfortunately, I hate to tell you this, but it's already been purchased. I made a deal with the creator of the universe. He told me to make a loan and do business with him because he's the best business partner. So I agreed. And because of that contract that I have, this mithaq that I have with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, unfortunately, I can't engage in any business with you. But what I can do is that I can give you a little bit of my attention during that time. I will perform this task for you. You can pay me for this little bit of attention. You see the difference? He thinks he can pay for my life. And I'm saying no, but I can give you this much of my attention. Why? Because I have an obligation I need to take care of anyway. Perspective. It is about how you look at things. And I will ask you this on the way out. Where did your perspective come from? Because there's one perspective that is presented by Allah and His Messenger, alayhi salatu wasalam, and then there is the ones that are generated by the majority, by individuals, etc. Where did your perspective come from? Source it. Make sure that it is legit. Make sure that it is valid. Not in the eyes of man, but in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us the ability to get the full benefit out of this month of Ramadan, both in our internal lives and our external lives, and our families and our communities, and the Ummah Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also use this month of Ramadan as a means of hidayah for the non-Muslims, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bring them into the fold of Islam. May Allah ta'ala allow us to end this month strong, and the middle be strong, and the beginning is strong, so that way in Shawwal and the months that come after this month of Ramadan, that they are also strong in the service of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, with the taqwa of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, with the gratitude towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in preparation for our meeting with our Rabb, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ameen ya Rabbal Alameen. Subhanallah wa bihamdihi, subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdika, wa nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta wa nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma يصفون والسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين برحمتك نستغيث. جزاكم الله خيرا for your time, not just now, but for the rest of Ramadan, inshallah. What's your name? Sulaiman.